how does the world view us is shaped by what America allows to be put out there.
It's not about America. It's not about America allowing it.
That's
the thing. That's what we're putting out. So okay, so what? So,
we're not.
Okay, hold on. So let
me
pose a question to you then. How does America stop allowing it? How does America disallow that image to go out there?
You want to know how?
How?
Because the dynamics of what we as consumers has to change. Hear me out. If we as consumers say to ourselves, all right, look, I love 50, I love Jay, I love Common, I love Young Jock, I love Dro, I love T.I. Cool. I love them people. However, I'm not going to go out and support the images that the people who distribute them, because it's not just the artist in and of himself. It's not just him. Because the people who are distributing his music, who are paying him hundreds of millions of dollars to sell music, are only going to sit in that meeting when they listen to his album before it's released and only allow those cuts that relate to clubbing, fighting, smoking, and drinking to be put on that album. You see what I'm saying?
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
That artist does not have the control. Most artists do not have the control.
So,
whether it's a black art, hear me out. Whether it's a black label like Puffy's, or Grand Hustle, or not Good Music, Blocking and T, who's under Puffy. These people, even Puffy himself, has someone who's distributing him. He has the answer to about the music and the product that's coming off of his label.
Here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. If they did put that out, if they did put out something that was, conscious or whatever, how successful will it be? When you look at it from a business perspective, if I'm looking at it from a business perspective, and I'm sure some of those rappers have had, positive songs, on their albums or whatever. But if I'm looking at it purely from a business perspective, of course, because I know that the misogynistic music is going to sell, of course, that's what I'm probably going to want on that album. And of course, I put the burden on the artist. I put the burden on the artist.
How so? How?
Because let the artist decide which music, what type of music that he's going to put out there. Let the artist decide.
He doesn't have that decision. He does not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The artist, in and of himself, his responsibility is to go make tracks. That's his job. Let's use for example this guy named Young Buck. Some people are familiar with Young Buck. He was with 50 Cent and Eminem and all that. Let's take him for example. Not well known, not a huge multi-platinum record selling artist. However, under his contract, I'm quite sure that he has an agreement in which he has to make so much music. Whether that music ever released or not, he has to make so much of it. Now, once he's made so much of it, it is time for his album to be forthcoming to the world. There are going to be a group of individuals who are going to sit down and listen to this music that he's produced in this span of time, and they're going, not Young Buck, but they are going to get together and decide what is going to sell. Okay? It's not that artist. Yeah, he makes that music because a lot of times these people are coming from environments when that's what they saw.
That's the music that he chooses to make.
Oh, he has to make that music if he wants to sell records.
That's the music that he chooses because that's what's going to sell.
Why is that what's going to sell? Why? Because those 4 or 5 people are going to make that decision.
It seems to be that's right now. That's what's prevalent as far as what we want to listen to. When I say we, I'm not just talking about our particular culture. I'm not talking about our culture. I'm talking about young people period. Because white kids buy more hip hop than anybody else.
That's right.
All right, but that's what they want to hear. That's what they want to hear. That's what the artists want to put out there. I really and truly believe, even though you can say that of course the A&R people or whatever are going to have some input into what that artist puts out. I think at heart that's the type of music that a lot of those artists like Young Buck, like T.I., that's what they want to make. That's what they're comfortable making. And they know. That's what they know. So what do we do about changing what they know?
What
do we do about changing what they know?
That question gets to a very, very deep issue because now you're talking about the social and the parental and the moralistic characteristic an individual is born and grows into throughout the span of a lifetime to reach the point where he's making music or what have you. You understand what I'm saying? That is a question that is not just and a blanket answer is going to fix that issue, because to fix that issue, you have to take kids out of situations in which mama got 7, 8 men running through the house every week. You got daddy not at home. You walk outside, you got JoJo on the corner smoking. You got Bobo selling.
Run it back. So what you're saying is it's a lost cause for me.
No.
Hold up though. For the most part, you are.
No.
For the most part, hold up. But so how do you fix that? How do you fix that? Is there an answer for it?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What's the answer?
Well, my personal
What's the
answer
answer?
is fix those problems we just discussed.
What's the answer? Give me the condensed version.
My first thing is, number one, is that we as a people have to get back to what has sustained us, and that is a belief in something greater than ourselves. That's number one. Number two, we have to get back to a belief that we are a true community, and that means that we have the authority to correct and reprimand each other's children. Number three, we have to be living in such a way in which I don't mind you reprimanding my child, because I know you are of good moral fiber. So can it be changed? Yes. But how does it become changed? It starts by looking back to where we came from and what got us over. What got us over is not where we're at today as a people. And this has nothing to do with America's perspective of us. This has everything to do with the perspective of ourselves. Because we see ourselves as these characters in these events that we're speaking about, and what let's face it, what's driving our community, this hip hop music. So we're allowing these artists, these people who grew up from broken families and broken values and broken morals, to dictate how we should live as a society. And if you're growing up as a society without those elements being present, then of course you're going to have some faults in the people who are growing up in that society. It makes perfect sense. If I go to the projects and I got $150,000 in my pocket, and I announce loudly, I got $150,000 in my pocket, I should expect to get shot. But if I go to the project and tell somebody, I know how you can get $150,000, and I'm finna tell you how you're gonna get these $150,000, and start to dole out that $150,000 in increments, then I'm not gonna get shot. I'm gonna be welcomed back, because they want me to bring another $150 back. You understand what I'm saying? It's about how we start to talk to one another and what we have to do to believe in. That's how we're going to get past this music dictating what we do. You understand what I'm saying? There is no point in us looking at ourselves as a small segment, and that truly is, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the world, a small segment of our culture who is dictating what is perceived about our culture. And that is the truth. As a matter of fact, I want to give you guys some names, just so you guys can understand that everybody black is not stupid. And I did some research, so I'm taking this thing seriously, okay? And this is sad, but at least we have something to look at. Number one, I want to name just 4 different CEOs of black major corporations. I'm going to start with Mr. Clarence Otis Jr., who is the CEO of the Darden Corporation. Now, some of us don't know what that is, so let me put it in black people English. Red Lobster and Olive Garden. So now, we got Red Lobster and Olive Garden. We got a Mr. Parsons, who has recently resigned as being the CEO of the Time Warner Media Group. Everybody should know who that is. They're huge. You know the commercials that they put on TV about R&B soul albums and the whole nine? There you go. Bought BET. All right. Now, we got Alwyn Lewis, who is the CEO of Sears Holdings. Go look that up. Kenneth Chenault, who is the CEO of American Express. And then Mr. Ronald Williams, who is the CEO of Aetna. That's an insurance company. There are entrepreneurs out there. Something that I found to be absolutely amazing was that there's a man by the name of Mr. William G. Mays, who runs a chemical company, and he's also the owner of the 4th oldest black newspaper called the Indianapolis Recorder. His chemical company produces chemical products for food, drug, and automobile industry. Mr. Jeff Shanigan, if I pronounced his name wrong, I do apologize. He's the founder and CEO and president of Code Black Entertainment. It's the first independent, vertically integrated black film studio. That means this man is making, producing, distributing black movies. And then there's a Mr. Ted Childs, who owns Ted Childs LLC. And this gentleman is an individual who does work diversity workshops for major corporations throughout America. And if you're uncertain as to what workforce diversity is a situation in which we're trying to merge races, cultures, and sexes in the workforce to be more productive at whatever their tasks are in that particular workforce. I brought those names up only to show you that these are people who are flying underneath, by and large, the black people radar. And I say that because mainstream America is not going to tell you about the black man who owns the chemical company. Mainstream America is not going to tell you about the black man who is trying to do his own film production production and distribution. They're not going to tell you about the 4 black CEOs of major corporations. Why are they not going to tell you that? Because when you find information out about people doing something other than entertaining or sports, those kids who are not affluent in those areas, sports and entertainment, then have something to reach towards. They can say, I can be a scientist. They can say, I can be an engineer. They can say, I can go out and be behind the camera as opposed to being in front of the camera. These are the people that we need to make known to our generation of people, to people who are below me, because all of us come here with a dream. All of us come here with something that we want to do. And the perspective, and I want to say this before we get any further, the perspective, regardless of what America's perspective, the world's perspective, or even our cultural perspective is, the perspective that is going to be important is the perspective that each individual has of him or herself. You got to have that.